है जाबी कराची है, सर है बुलंद अपनी शाबी कराची है, माने जो कभी ना हार कराची है, मैदान में शेर की धाड़ कराची है। ना झुकना कभी ना रुकना अभी, मंजिल वो दूर नहीं, हाँ खुद को परख तू ढूंढ सही, है हम में छुपा सब यही। ये खेल नहीं एक जंग सी छिड़ी, अब पीछे हमने हटना नहीं, ये शहर जुनू गवाह है सभी, खेले हैं अब तक हक से जानी, जोशे जनू का ये तूफान है, जीतोगे हमसे ना आसा है, चारों तरफ ज़मा है, कराची किंग्स का ये मैदान है, गली मोहल्ले में सजेगा, मेला जो देख के तू कहेगा, कराची था और अब रहेगा। कर देंगे सबको हाथ हम, डर के नहीं करते बात हम, करते हैं ये ऐलान सुन, एक कैसे शेर धाड़े, कराची कराची ये है कराची, कराची कराची ये है कराची।
Hello and Assalamu Alaikum. Welcome to Pitchside Perspectives EP2. My name is Khabar Mahmood Hawan and with me is Depressed Amin Mahmood. Yes, that is in fact correct. Because आज जो हम गेम कवर करने जा रहे हैं वो इंतहाई सनसनीखेज मुकाबला था, और वो मुकाबला था PSL El Clasico aka कराची किंग्स वर्सेस लाहौर कलंदर्स. And as always, Karachi came out on top. Sir, before we move to the screens,
एक बात बताओ लाहौर वालों, कराची की ब्लू किट देख के तुम लोगों को क्या इंडिया की याद आ जाती है जो हारने लग जाते हो?
Very well said, brother.
yes, by the way, मिकाइल भाई भी पीछे बैठे हुए हैं,
मैं काम कर रहा हूँ.
वो काम कर रहा
I
है.
will try not to be too loud क्योंकि उनके कान फट जाएंगे, but for God's sake यार, for the third time in a row, क्या ये बॉटल जॉब सिचुएशन बना के रखा हुआ है कि जब कराची सामने आएगी तो आपने अपने अंदर का असल जो पाकिस्तान टीम वाली परफॉर्मेंस है आपने वो
नहीं,
निकालना है.
अंदर का स्पर्स निकालना है,
अंदर का स्पर्स निकालना है.
बॉटल करना है. उमर, ये तुम्हारे लिए था. बहुत टाइम से स्पर्स को रेफर नहीं किया था मैंने.
क्यों, मतलब क्यों करते हो ये? इतना टॉर्चर तो ना करो यार, एक मैच तो जीत जाओ. ये क्या PSL 2016 के फ्लैशबैक्स दे रहे हो अपने फैन बेस
देखिए,
को?
बहुत से लोग कह रहे हैं कि लाहौर की फॉर्म इस प्लेयर की वजह से, इस प्लेयर की वजह से है. नहीं, असल में वजह ये है कि अली जफर ने जब से एंथम दोबारा गाया है तब से पुरानी लाहौर वापस आ गई है. खैर कराची पुरानी अल्लाह का शुक्र है नहीं वापस आई, नहीं तो मैंने भी इसी हाल में होना था. बट यस, नॉनदलेस सर, क्या कमेंट्स? वन वर्ड फॉर दिस लाहौर कलंदर्स टीम, तमीज वाला.
गाइडलाइंस हैं abysmal.
Abysmal. All right, that's abysmal. All right, moving to the match summary. Well, Karachi Kings called it right at the toss and they decided to bowl first, a decision which was very well up until the death overs. Yes, because Saabzada Farhan played an absolute blinder, 72 of 45, and that is a knock that got Lahore Qalandars to this total of 175 for 6. Hassan Ali there being standard in the bowlers, 2 for 29. Mir Hamza again performing well, 2 for 31. Shamsi finally getting the wickets, although he does need to work a bit on his economy. Amin, take us through the Karachi Kings in innings.
Where do I start with? Okay, so
Let's go to the batting scorecard. Let's go to Lahore's batting scorecard, then we'll come to Karachi. All right, batting scorecard for Lahore. All right.
I really don't get what's up with Fakhar Zaman. He is yet to play a match-defining or a match-winning knock. He's been struggling. Sahibzada Farhan was the only standout, as far as I'm concerned, because shuru mein theek hai, he was struggling as well, but the way he accelerated at the end is why we got to that 175 mark. So that was good to see.
All right, and I think, yeah, Van der Dusen was, well, he didn't work as he has been working. Jahandar had a bit of a cameo. He got out on a no ball. That was another एक अलग सीन था वो, and then Shai Ho playing a cameo along with Linde.
It can't be a Lahore Karachi game without some controversy.
It wasn't a controversy, I think. It was a clear-cut decision.
Drama,
yes. Yeah. I mean, unexpected situations. All right, coming to Karachi Kings bowling. All right, it was a good start, but I think they leaked a few runs towards the end, which shouldn't have happened, considering that they had Lahore in trouble for 92 for 4 at the 12 over mark.
Yeah, Lahore's run rate was in the dumps completely. But the good thing about it is, again, extras की जब हम बात कर रहे थे पिछले episode में, only 4 extras in this game.
4 extras. Let's dissect the bowling card. Mir Hamza of 2 for 31. He is becoming much of a star for Karachi, and it's good for the national
He's
team
been
as
a
well.
real trademark, and I noticed this since like PSL season 8 because he was good in that season as well for you guys.
It's good to see Karachi is bringing out some talent as well, because Karachi is the only team so far that has been lacking in talent, right?
Yeah.
Every other team there produced some sort of talent for the team, but Karachi has been behind that. So it's good to see that Karachi is doing that as well. Shoaib Malik bowled that 1 over, gave just 4 runs. Nawaz was surprisingly good. No wickets, but just 16 runs in 3 overs.
He was very economical for a change.
Guys, Lahore का इतना बुरा हाल है, नवाज अच्छा खेल रहा है. I had to say. Hassan Ali. Hassan Ali doing well, 2 for 29. Daniel Sams, he was expensive. After that performance, he couldn't capitalize on it. And it was none for 52. Shamsi getting 2 wickets, as I mentioned before, but then again, he's going heavy on the runs, which Shamsi needs to work on, because Shamsi is the leading spinner for Karachi.
Yeah, he does. Now, when you have 1 point, surprisingly, Nawaz was the guy that turned up a ball.
Nawaz bowled brilliantly. I was very happy with Nawaz's performance. Well, moving on to let's go to
the chase.
Yeah, no, let's go to the chase. Before we go to the chase, what did you think at halftime?
At halftime, I thought they actually saved it pretty well at the end, because I didn't expect them to get more than 130, 140. मुझे लगा था collapse कर जाएंगे.
Yeah, it was looking like they were going to collapse, because Karachi was all over Lahore at that point, and
it was a tale of 2 halves basically. The first 10 overs, Karachi completely dominated. Then towards I'd say the other 10 overs, but the last 5 overs at least were definitely more or less.
The first inning reminds me a lot of the Pakistan-Sri Lanka game back in 2014, which Anwar Ali miraculously rescued us from. इसी तरह का first innings था कि पाकिस्तान ने कुछ 70 पे 5 किया हुआ था उनको, और उन्होंने कुछ 100.
Anwar Ali out of nowhere.
नहीं, first innings की बात कर रहा हूँ. They were 70 for 5, they were struggling, and then they recovered 176. और इधर भी यही हुआ. Not as bad as that time, but second innings में Pollard and Malik, they saved Karachi basically. Anyways, coming to the Karachi Kings batting scorecard. Karachi really need to work on their opening. I'm sorry, but it's been a struggle since a long time, right? Ever since Babar has left Karachi, I don't think they've been able to get a proper opening combination, right? Because 1-2 games होते हैं आपका एक आध opener खड़ा हो जाता है, but in most of the games, Karachi's openers are very bad.
I'll be very honest with you. I expected the likes of Vince and Akhlaq and Malik to handle it quite easily. Lekin
Masood got unlucky, you must say.
Yeah.
That was a bad call from Akhlaq for that run, and Akhlaq clearly struggled as well. Masood did get 2 boundaries. He was looking good. James Wins needs to go back to the drawing board and figure out what's wrong with him, because his contributions for Karachi are essential, and if he cannot fire, then you can't pull yourself out of this situation.
Karachi's batting, Vince, Malik and Pollard are the guys you would expect to turn up when it matters most.
Yeah. So coming to Shoaib Malik. Shoaib Malik played well, 39 of 32.
Yeah, Shoaib.
That was an anchor in innings. Yeah, that was an anchor in innings along with Kieran Pollard, who had 58 of 33. See Nawaz there again, 15 of 10. I mean, why are you sending Nawaz when you know he's just gonna go out there and play that role of an aggressor? Maybe send in Pollard, because you're building extra pressure if you know Nawaz is going to go out there and get out. Maybe, demote him down the order.
Pollard's strike rate against Lahore is also a really key factor.
Pollard has some history with Lahore.
He's a nightmare fuel. He has been.
Well, Irfan Niazi there with a cameo, and Hamza, well, Hassan Ali, he got a 6th, and an important 6 in the second last over. I'm sorry, all right, wait a second. Before we go to the bowling scorecard, I don't get what Shaheen was thinking, giving that last over to the spinner. A great example, yesterday night, it was the same scenario. Babar Azam only had 2 options, a spinner or a pacer for the 19th over. He went with the spinner. The gamble worked.
4 wickets in a single over.
Yeah,
but
4
it
wickets.
Didn't work in Lahore.
And the funny thing is, Colin Munro was still out there when the spinner came on to bowl.
Peshawar were in a much more difficult situation compared
to Karachi. Malik and Pollard were both back in the dugout. Maybe you could have utilized SN Hafiz there where the pressure was on Karachi. That last boundary on the last ball on which who hit the boundary, I don't remember. But yeah, when the boundary got hit, I think that released all the pressure.
हाँ वही बात है यार मतलब you had a formula जिसमें जमान खान को आप बचाते थे for the very last over because you know he was economical at the death. वो बंदा bowling अच्छी करता है. I don't get why you wouldn't save at least one over from either him or from Haris for that very end. और Hassan Hafiz को आप पहले use कर लेते. But खैर nothing's been working for Lahore this season.
I mean, Lahore haven't just been able to find that right connection when it comes to the middle overs because the early overs were good, right? The first time we saw Lahore bowling well in the early overs. But as soon as it got to the middle overs, the game just got away from them. I think
And they capitalized on it with both hands.
right, let's go to Lahore's bowling card.
Let's wrap this up because
Yeah.
will be करना है.
Yes, we have that as well, but we're still waiting on our Chelsea fan. Yeah, so Arsil साहब का message तो नहीं है मेरे पास एक second नहीं. All right, so we're gonna wait on Arsil as well, but yeah, for the time being. So the Lahore Qalandars bowling scorecard. Shaheen 1 for 34. Good to see him controlling the runs a bit, getting in the wicket
It was
taking
a better
habit.
performance
Yeah,
from him.
Zaman was good 2 for 25. Ehsan was expensive but got 2 wickets. Jahandad was very
Disappointing.
expensive.
Very
I don't get it. Why was Jahandad asked to bowl the full 4 overs as compared to anyone else here? Maybe Ehsan could have bowled another over in there as well. I think.
ये opportunity थी एसन को लाने के लिए लेकिन for some reason I think they persisted with जहांदाद के शायद इसको utilize किया जाए against the likes of Malik, against the likes of Pollard, which didn't work.
You see those 3 bowlers in towards the end of the scorecard, and you see Karachi clearly targeted them. Shaheen got Pollard वगैरह था, so that's why Shaheen की economy rate थोड़ी खराब थी. So yeah, that's why. Rauf was good, but Rauf got injured.
Haris Rauf is now injured. मतलब जिस गेम में हारिस ने परफॉर्म करना शुरू किया उसी गेम में भाई साहब का इंजर होना जरूरी था. And he could be missing the Afghanistan series as well, I think, as PSL के बाद.
He might be missing the World Cup because it could be as bad as what we saw with Naseem Shah.
This might be a really grand opening for Naseem's brothers Ubaid and Hunain. They might find
Who
a way
have
to
been
the
doing
national
well.
team and who have been doing decently well in the PSL.
So as far as things stand, Lahore are bottom of the table. 5 games, 5 losses, and they have a game against Multan today. What do you think? On a serious note, what do you think? Will Lahore make a comeback?
I don't see it happening this season. They aren't able to find a solid playing 11. I've seen them make a lot of changes in all 5 games, but it's pretty clear by this point that nothing is working. And the fact that they're missing Rashid, and now the fact that you have Haris Rauf injured, when he finally actually turned up and performed in a game, हालात अच्छे नहीं लग रहे भाई. वही बात है, चैन एक पल नहीं.
I think what Lahore, the season is not over. There's still 5 games to go. They can still mathematically qualify. But I think at the end of the season,
They
Lahore
do
need to
rely on other results as
go
well.
back to the drawing board, and they need to find out on how to not rely on Rashid that much. They need to find either
They
a
need to
local
find a
talent.
quality spinner.
They need to find either local talent or just up their game with the current ones. That brings our PSL segment to the end. As promised, we do have football in this podcast, and the first game we're going to start off this with. It's an important cup final. Let's have the Chelsea fan first because they lost the game. Arsil, come on up.
अरसल साहब आए हैं.
अमीन के साथ बैठे हैं क्योंकि लाहौर आ रहा था.
अबे भाई.
इधर आ जा, बिल्कुल जगह नहीं होगी. And introduce the Liverpool fan, please.
We have Afshad Sidhwa.
All right, come on up. Just by the way, one thing. इधर आ. ये यूनाइटेड फैन खामा में फिक्स हुआ हुआ है, ठीक है. ये मुफ्त में आए, मैंने किसी ने नहीं बुलाया इसको. बैठिए वहाँ पीछे, शाबाश. कौन सा तमाशा? वो चलो फाइनल में तो थे ना तुम यूरोपियन फुटबॉल है. Alright guys, how are you?
I'm good.
Great.
You must be feeling great.
I don't know why.
You and I were all feeling great. These two खैर टीम्स अच्छी चूज करनी चाहिए थी यार.
गलती हो गई यार.
Right. So the score. So for the people who don't know the score line, it was 1-0. The Reds make it 10. Liverpool have 10 Carabao Cups.
इस सीजन की जरा से कॉन्टेक्स्ट दे दें. This is of course Jurgen Klopp's last season with Liverpool, and it might be the last time we see him managing a team for quite some time. So all the more important for Liverpool going into this final. Afshad, what do you think?
What I think about Jurgen Klopp leaving? I think one thing we have to note is that this guy has. So I've been supporting Liverpool since not that long, in the sense of I think when Brendan Rodgers' final year started, was when I started supporting them. So I've seen some pretty horrible teams play. So seeing what Jurgen Klopp did coming into that club and changing up everything about the club, which I don't think any other team in English football can say they've seen, especially United fans, despite what they argue about. I don't think we'll ever see a revolution like that and a turnaround for that about a big team for a long time. He's a really special guy, and anyone can argue and say like, oh, he's not, like Ferguson or Wenger or even Mourinho, but he's definitely special. He's definitely special. So it's sad to see him go.
Where would you rank him with the top managers though?
For Liverpool or all time?
All time.
Premier League?
All time. I mean,
All time?
yeah, all time.
There's an argument to be made for anyone. I think for Liverpool, Paisley and Shankly are still like, if you look back at history that far, you can even argue Kenny Dalglish, although his second stint wasn't that good. But I'd say he definitely is the best Premier League manager Liverpool have ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about if you compare him with Pep?
With Pep,
the hardest argument.
I think Pep couldn't do what every Liverpool fan will say this, and I think anyone with a brain will also say this, that Pep Guardiola would not have done what Jurgen Klopp did for Liverpool if he had the same circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but we're talking about what Pep did with City and what Klopp did with Liverpool.
That's amazing. What he's done with City is definitely second to none,
Yeah.
and it's quite unfortunate that our best era coincided with City's best era. Because we were losing the league at like 97 points. And
That was
95
just-
That was an insane season.
You can have a discussion on that. All right, but coming to the final, what were your thoughts going into this? Would it be easy for you guys, considering you guys had injuries as well?
What was the last game before? I think when Jota and Curtis Jones both went down, I was like, oh, we're screwed for this final. Because Jota was on fire, he was playing really good, and Curtis Jones has been consistently good the whole season. And I knew that would mean Gravenberch would have to start, and he's been consistently... Can I say shit?
I mean,
He's been bad. He's been consistently bad.
You've said it already.
He's been consistently bad the whole...
You said United, so you said shit before the podcast even
That's
began.
solid. He's the only Liverpool player I'd say who's been consistently bad the whole ever for a Jurgen Klopp team, I'd say. But he's okay.
Sure.
And he broke his ankle, God bless him, but he's okay.
All right, Arcel. Buddy, tell me how this was in Barca. Okay, you can argue, oh, they had academy players. This was Liverpool. First time we're seeing a other team other than Barca fielding so many academy players. You still lost to them with so many open chances.
We've lost
How?
6 finals in a row at Wembley, so I kind of saw it coming.
And 3 finals against Liverpool.
Yeah,
if I'm
3
not
finals
wrong.
against Liverpool. So I don't know what's wrong with us, seriously. But it's pretty hard to digest, how we lost. I think we played really well, but at the end of the day, we didn't capitalize on our chances. So when you don't capitalize against Liverpool, you always, suffer. And that's what happened. I think defensively, it's a huge problem for us. We conceded 2 times from set pieces. The one goal got disallowed, and I think we got lucky. I don't think that's
Let's talk about that Van Dijk goal being disallowed in the second half. That was just
60th minute, I think.
that was a bit absurd.
I think this is VAR is being overused at this point. You guys are looking at every
Absolutely.
single little detail. That
Even
wasn't.
the goal that Jackson was onside, that Sterling scored, Jackson scored it to Sterling. I think you could argue that Jackson looked onside to me. I think you couldn't tell from that angle. It's a very, very tight angle, and I genuinely think that VAR should not intervene in this marginal kind of decisions.
I was surprised when it went to an offside check. I'm like, that's clearly onside, but then they're like, oh, the defender block,
Endo
block. I mean, that was
It was
because
some shit.
Van Dijk had 3 defenders on him.
Yeah, pulling at him.
Yeah,
Pulling him
Chilwell
back.
was pulling his shirt,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
despite that, he still scored
He
the
still
goal.
scored.
So the goal should have stood.
He's a Greek god, man. I'd glaze that. Like that. I'm
Yeah,
such a,
his
I
comeback
love
has
him
been
so
insane.
much.
Given that he suffered an ACL, the comeback has been
And an ACL is not a
not many people
simple
recover
injury to
from
come
an
back
ACL.
from.
Yep.
Oh my God, what a
man.
considering the amount of ACLs we've had this season.
Yeah, it's very.
Sticking with Chelsea for a moment, अब Poch out के जो calls हैं, they are starting to intensify. Where do you weigh in on like that debate? Do you think Poch still needs more time, or do you see him leaving Chelsea at the end of the season?
I see him leaving because he's been given plenty of time. I think 6-7 months is more than enough. Given that Graham Potter was given 6-7 months, and again he's been given more than enough time. He's been given the resources. He's been given a preseason. He's been given full time. And given that Thomas Tuchel was just given 6 games, he has been given around 20. I think we've played around 20 games. So I think, and the fact that he's got so many good players, and Nkunku is back as well now. We don't have any injuries now, so you don't have any excuses now, right? And the Carabao Cup final, it was to be won. You had to win it. The Liverpool side, you had such an inexperienced side up against you, and you still couldn't capitalize on it.
It was Chelsea's game to
Yeah,
lose
and
it.
the fact is that you could argue that for the first 90 minutes, it was on the players because we created the chances. We missed, but for the extra time, he said it himself in the press conference that we were playing for penalties. You're playing for penalties against the under 18 Liverpool side. That's disgraceful.
I think
Okay,
it's
horrible.
stupid to play for penalties against Liverpool because that's how you lost the last two times. Carabao Cup. Kelleher
just form with
Kelleher and the Carabao Cup it's something else. I've seen this man play two finals and
the problem is, it's all about the mindset. Poch, we all know.
He embraced his academy players.
Like you can say, you can take a man out of Spurs, but you can't take Spurs out of him. So I just feel, he has...
Umar, again,
Umar, I'm sorry.
This wasn't planned.
I just think his mentality is just not good enough, It's the stuff he says in his press conferences, excuses again and again, So I just think he's not good enough.
Chelsea at this point, I feel like need a manager who knows how to use those resources because you guys have spent £1 billion, sure. But tell me one, but honestly, I cannot name more than 2 to 3 Chelsea players at this point.
The problem is
it is such an unknown team right
now. The spending has been horrible. I think the owners just rushed into it. They didn't know what they're doing and they just rushed into it.
So recruitment is a problem.
The recruitment has been a big problem. I think recruitment and the decision making, not good. You got Paul Winstanley as a board director. He's from Brighton. I just think the decision making has not been good for him as well. The signings have been poor. You spent 60 million on Mudryk and plus 20 million on add-ons, whatever. Okay, so that's not good. And then you haven't got any good quality winger, apart from Sterling, who's also very, very inconsistent. You got Jackson, a very raw striker. The team at the moment is very, very raw. It's extremely raw. You haven't got any good signings. You've spent more than 600 million on academy players. So what's the point? You need to prepare for the current status of the club. And I think it all went down. When they sacked Tuchel. You're sacking a Champions League manager, winning manager. You just give him 6 games and you let him out the door. I think that was the rough decision.
Your downfall started with when Roman.
Yeah, when Roman left. Yeah,
when Roman, you can have that chemistry they need because you have players, but they just don't get along with each other.
They're very raw, and the manager is simply not good enough. His decision making is poor. He had a left back, Ian Maatson. I'm pretty sure you've heard of him. He was a left back. Poch did not give him a single game at left back. He started him at right wing once, and that was it. You're playing players out of position and then you loaned him out to Dortmund.
Kind of like what Koeman did with Serginho.
Yeah, and now look how good Maatson is playing at Dortmund. So obviously you're not giving players a chance. You're playing Disasi as centre back and right back. You're playing a centre back and left back, Leo Colville. So it's the coach is simply not good enough. I think at the end of the season, I just don't see him being at the club.
What's next for Liverpool?
What is next for Liverpool? We're still in the running for every competition. Europa League, FA Cup, 5th round. I think round of 16 for Europa League. First of the Premier League. We just have to wait for 10th March. And I think that's the deciding factor for our season, not just the league. I think it's our whole season because it's a big match just for the Premier League in general. It's a title deciding game. Arsenal's game against City is also, I think, the same month. Both huge games.
Manchester Derby भी है.
उसमें तो मजा आएगा.
Nobody's excited for that. It's okay. Liverpool are playing United as well. I think at home or away. I think away.
It doesn't matter where they're playing then. We're gonna thrash them.
I think we have a United fan.
Seriously?
Would you like to remind us of the score?
Injuries. You guys have so many injuries. We still have a
We had
Hello.
injuries. We had injuries when we beat
The
you
people
guys
who
6-0.
underestimated them. You guys are worse than Chelsea at this point. Come on.
Okay, I wouldn't
Yeah,
go
but
that
they have
far.
luck on their side. So I think United have been pretty lucky recently. With poor performances, they get away with it.
Fulham.
This season could have been a loss worse for them.
Yeah,
This season could have been a heck of a lot of worse for United.
they played terrible football. I think.
Maguire's played good for that saying
Before
something, man.
देखो this wasn't planned. ये खुद आया podcast में और अपनी इज्जत अफजाई खुद करवा के जा रहा है.
थर्सडे को हमने इन्हें इनवाइट किया था मैनचेस्टर डर्बी के लिए, खुद नहीं आ रहे क्योंकि इनका एग्जाम है. आ जाए, अभी भी कह रहे हैं.
अरे हारेंगे.
The sound engineer has spoken.
If we win, then I'll come. If we don't, then I won't come.
अच्छा.
इस हिसाब से तो उसको होना ही नहीं चाहिए पॉडकास्ट में.
हाफ टाइम पे देख रहा होगा, हाँ बॉयज आ रहा हूँ. हाफ टाइम पे 7 minutes
Right, what's next for Chelsea? Are you guys still in the FA Cup?
Yeah, we're playing Leeds
They're
on
playing
Thursday.
Leeds.
Round of 32 or 16?
Yeah, I think
16.
16. Yeah.
16. Any hopes?
Yeah, I think.
You guys need a
I
trophy.
think we need to win this one.
You guys need at least European football to save your
Yeah, but I
season.
don't see it happening. I think it's very difficult now. I think it's a huge setback. You know, I think mentality-wise, they're all gonna be very, very down right now. So I just don't see them coming back up at this point.
Who would you say would your next manager be?
It's tough to say right now. You know, I think I wanted Nagelsmann from the start. You know, but he's managing Germany
Look, the
now.
options you guys
Yeah.
listed, the options that are on the mark, the big names,
Yeah,
Conte,
Flick.
Mourinho, Flick's going to Barca.
Yeah,
let's
Flick's going to
admit it.
Barca,
Flick's
yeah.
going to Barca. There's no doubt about it. Flick's either he's going to go to Barca, or either he's going to go back to Bayern. With Nagelsmann, you're not sure because it all depends on how Germany performs in the Euro 24.
Yeah.
If Germany do well, Flick is going to stay there,
Which is not happening.
and Xabi Alonso is going.
Xabi Alonso going to-
Let's
I think
let's-
Liverpool or Bayern. Xabi Alonso. Tuchel is leaving as well.
you guys want him back though?
I don't see it happening.
Would
I don't
you
think. I don't
take
think he's
Tuchel-
in. I would take
Tuchel
him back.
back
I
right
would take
now,
him back, but I don't think the
considering
owners
how
will.
it's-
I think they don't have a good relationship between each other.
I think you guys need
They had a bit of a fallout.
change of owners and
Yeah.
more than you guys need a change of coaching then.
Get the Americans out of football, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree. You need to get them out.
So if would you say Liverpool can do the impossible and win the quadruple this season?
The quadruple, I think.
It's a fake quadruple, technically not an actual.
No.
Yeah.
Quadruple is a quadruple. 4 trophies.
With the Europa League?
Getting 4 trophies.
That's
is
not an
getting
actual
4
quadruple.
When I
trophies.
imagine Corona, what I'm picturing is a final between Leverkusen and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
that would be an epic final. Alonso versus Klopp.
Klopp.
Think about that for a moment.
Because if Alonso wins against Liverpool, there's no chance we're not getting him. Our board will do everything in their power to get him. Because if he can beat a manager like Klopp, who's like, and we're hearing all these sounds right now that Alonso's the perfect fit for Liverpool's next project and everything that's gonna happen. I think if we do get to a point where we have to go up against Leverkusen in the Europa League, and if they beat us, or if I'm sure there's gonna be a great performance, but if they beat us, I think there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna come to Liverpool.
Especially given he could potentially become the first manager to beat Bayern to the Bundesliga title,
Yeah.
ending their 11-year streak alone.
what about
And Harry Kane's trophy-less street country.
what about the fact that Xabi Alonso could potentially go to Madrid because we don't know how.
I don't see it happening.
Because the league is still on, right? Even though I'm a Barca fan, but honestly, the league is still on. Girona could potentially still win the league because they're 5 points off Madrid, and you don't know what can happen in the Champions League.
Madrid do tend to draw points. Kabhi 1-1 draw ho gaya away.
Yeah, and Madrid have been drawing more than they've been losing, which is essentially much worse, actually. You know, if you
Near the
draw,
end of the season.
you don't see the problems that much. But if Carlo leaves, let's say, right, Madrid don't win anything other than the Super Cup. Xabi Alonso is a high chance you guys could be competing with Madrid as well.
And who's I think has agreed.
They are going after it. They are going after it.
They're assembling the
Yeah, David,
Galacticos.
it's a done deal, I think.
I think it's a done deal. as
First
well,
their team-
Is it the
Terms, I think,
Galacticos
is-
era? When there are too many star names or too many big players in the team, it tends to go sideways. Except Barca, Bayern, I haven't seen any, when like all the big
I
names
think
performing
Madrid
out.
have been very smart with their signings. You know, they haven't.
and
Yeah,
with
I
their
think they're
and
planning
with
for the
their
future
yeah.
quite well.
and with
Planning
the
has been really
refereeing
good.
and with the refereeing.
That's a
Oh.
different argument.
I mean, let's face it. There have been instances where it's clear that the referee is being biased towards Madrid. That Almeria
If we
game.
want to talk about refereeing, I'm just saying there's a good red club and I know a lot of clubs in England. We can talk about refereeing. Do that Spurs
Yeah, so
match.
you-
I'm still stuck on that Spurs game. Do that.
Yeah, that was that Diaz offside.
that was
Yes.
horrible.
That was some.
What about someone potentially sitting over there? Any offside?
No, he's still sitting there. It's okay. We don't care about them.
Idhar aana, sir.
Yeah,
Introduce yourself.
Ugly podcast.
Hello guys, I'm Wase. I'm a United fan.
Mic में बोल.
आगे आओ.
Hello guys, I'm Wase. I'm a United fan. That's all.
क्या कुछ करना है सीजन या
यार अभी तो
That's
we're in
a no.
sixth
बोल तो
place.
ऐसे रहा जैसे मैनेजर बैठ जाओ
Bro, we're in sixth place. We have some jobs.
Lose to Chelsea.
Come on.
What was the last result of United
4-1,
Chelsea?
we got battered. I think.
United are the only team that lost to, और उसमें मुझे हैरत होती है उसने कि
Yeah,
Chelsea
even we
won.
were so bad in that game. That was.
Chelsea, you're
Bro,
losing
you
to
need to
Fulham.
accept cookies to see Chelsea on the table.
Like I'm stuck between who's worse this season, Chelsea or United. Like I can't figure.
I think
it out.
No, no.
football. I think-
Considering you finished 4th in a group of
Oh,
Bayern,
come on. That's
Copenhagen, Galatasaray.
We did that to focus on the league.
And where are you in the
Where are
league?
you in the league?
We're trying to get Champions League next season.
Just as him saying trying to get European football for next season. You have zero arguments to defend United this season.
We have injuries. Come on, like.
The same way I can't defend
have
all
all
the
the
season.
Like Barca didn't have half of the 11 out at one point. Still in the UCL, still in the league race.
If we can beat them with 7 children who are giving their A-levels next year, I think you guys can beat them.
Khatam.
मैं जा रहा हूँ भाई.
That's it, right? Yeah, that's actually it for the podcast.
अगले एपिसोड पे we will be reviewing the Manchester derby और PSL के कुछ और games.
We'll be giving the preview to the Manchester derby. We
Preview
will
to the
have
Manchester
a Man
derby.
City fan and a United fan. Not him because he is not available. मैं उसको खींच कर ले आऊँगा अगर ज़रूरत पड़ी Tuesday को. Because on Tuesday we will be reviewing the game as well.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Scoreline prediction because you won't be here.
4-2
City?
United.
One final thing before we end the episode.
Okay, 2-1 makes sense. 1-0 makes sense. 1-1 makes sense. 4-2, you guys are going to score 4
Let
against...
us go.
I have faith. 3-1 United.
Yeah.
2-0 City.
Please, I'm
Acha,
begging you.
one final thing before we end this episode, a very quick prediction. Where do you think your clubs are going to finish in the Premier League table this season?
उन दोनों से पूछा बैठ जाओ तुम guess नहीं हो अभी.
Fifth. We're ending fifth. Spurs are bottling.
उमर ये episode please मत देखना तुम trigger होने वाले हो.
8th.
8th. That's a bold claim.
Yeah, I think we're.
I'm gonna say first. I think we're gonna go. all the way.
Everton के उस points deduction scene के बाद वैसे थोड़ा things might change a bit. in the
Yeah,
direction.
Sean Dyche is a
कल भी
crazy
change
man.
हुए.
Screw Everton, man.
Alright guys, that is it from the podcast. और दुआ करें कि आज लाहौर जीत जाए नहीं तो इसकी रूह परवाज हो जाएगी आज.
भाई please जीत जाओ यार.
हाँ आज भी लाहौर का मैच है.
चलिए
बाबर
जी.
ने क्या 100 मारी है यार, मजा आ गया.
That was
Yeah,
great.
man.
Alright,
चलिए जी.
thank you.